I'm Joe and I'm from London. I am a gay Jew and I work at a community centre. I'm really passionate about creating spaces for other LGBTQ plus people to feel comfortable and safe to be their best selves. I grew up in the Orthodox Jewish community in London, and being gay wasn't really an option. There was gay people that we saw on TV, but whenever gay was mentioned, it was mentioned in a negative way. This made me feel really alone and like I didn't have a choice on kind of what path I had at life. I was going to marry a woman and have a family, and that's what I thought of for most of my teen life. I didn't really speak to anyone about it at all because I was fearful that I would get chucked out of my school or out of my house. I didn't know that people could accept me for who I was. When I was around 17, I came across a website offering alternatives to homosexuality. And I thought to myself, wow, I can change so I can fit into the community that I wanted to be part of, that I was part of. And I decided to do it. And what I didn't realize at the time was this was conversion therapy or conversion practices. And I spent about 2.5 years talking to someone who was the first person I'd spoken to about my sexuality at all. So initially it felt really exciting and wonderful, but as the months went on, I realized that it wasn't really working. I was being made to feel like I wasn't enough, like there was something broken within me. And all the stories about my life, all the memories that I had were being framed in a way that made me think, oh, it was my fault for being gay. I didn't have enough male friends or play enough sports. And anytime I failed or was still attracted to men, I felt like it was my fault. And this left me feeling really isolated and alone. I couldn't really feel any emotions. I felt quite disconnected. And I analysed every thought and feeling and emotion. And it really left me in quite a depressed state. And it still affects me till today. It still makes me question myself, question my sexuality, question my relationships, and question who I am. I still am on a shaky ground when it comes to my identity. But as I grew up and saw for the first time role models, I saw a video like this of Jewish Orthodox men in New York talking about their life, and I thought to myself, that's me. And it took me a while from that point to free myself from the shackles of conversion therapy and to come out more publicly to my family and to friends. But when I did, my life changed drastically. I was able to feel comfortable in who I was and spend less time thinking and analysing everything I was doing and actually live. My relationships with friends got deeper. I was less worried about what I liked, what music I liked, what things I liked watching on TV. I became much less worried about that because I just knew I was who I was and they knew who I was. My family initially was a bit surprised and struggled with me coming out to begin with, but grew to accept it and love me for who I am. My life now is still religious, still deeply traditional, and connected to the community that I grew up in. And what I would want to tell my younger self is that you can be a religious LGBT plus person. You can connect with your traditions, and you can connect with the texts, and you can connect with the richness of the life that you grew up into and still be gay. You can bring those identities together. You can find other people and leaders in your community that are open to you. It may not be possible where you are right now, but there is a future for you, and there are other people religious who are doing this. So I'm here to say that it gets better.